Or plug the power in here.
Uh-oh.
Okay, hello everybody. This is Chris from itsashort.com, and I am joined today with the cast and crew of Two for Stew. Ben Atkinson, shout out to Ben. Hey Ben.
Hi.
Darren Mangler, shout out to Darren. Hey Darren.
Hey, what's going on?
And our special guest host, who's also a member of the cast, Jim Martica. Anyway, we are so happy to have everybody here. And I know for those of us who are joining us, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the episode from Two for Stew. We're going to start out first by just having everybody introduce themselves. So, Ben Atkinson, tell us about how you got into acting in general and how you came up with Two for Stew.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. First of all, I want to say thanks to Christine and Duana and everyone over at itsashort.com for inviting us to be part of It's a Short, and also for hosting this really fun event. So just starting off with that to you guys. Also, me, my favorite subject. Jim, stop typing. God damn it, Jim.
That was Darren.
I don't believe you. So anyway, sorry. We're off already. Hi, my name is Ben Atkinson. I started acting in high school, doing theater, and only started doing that because I really loved the idea of making movies and television and stuff like that. And so. At this point in my career, I've been doing a lot of little projects, short films and whatnot as an actor, and I've created this series with Darren, and I'm working on a few other things. We'll talk about that a little later on probably. But yeah, just trying to create content and do it all, I guess. Do the actor, writer, director, editor, producer. Those are all things I've done, I think, on Two for Stew specifically. That's me. I have a film degree from Emerson College, and that's, yeah, there you go. That's the last little bit of my resume.
And are you a native Bostonian / East Coaster?
No, I'm not. Well, East Coaster, yes. I was born in Virginia, raised in Christiansburg, Virginia, and split that time then with Oklahoma for about 6 years, and then back to Virginia in the Charlottesville area, and then up to Boston for college, and then ultimately out here to Los Angeles to pursue entertaining folks.
Oh, how fabulous. Okay. Thank you very much. And now let's hear from our good friend Darren, who, in addition to everything else, has just declared that he's single. So, Darren, shout out to you. So, tell us about how you sort of got into acting in general and Two for Stew in particular.
Okay.
All right, I didn't do that at all.
I grew up in Savannah, Illinois, and next to our hometown was a Mount Carroll, Illinois, which housed a professional summer stock theater called Timberlake Playhouse. And they were having auditions for bass players. I was playing bass as a freshman in high school, and I got into the pit of a musical, and then they needed men for their next musical, so I auditioned, and then it snowballed from there to Western Illinois University, to going on tour for 2 years, to moving to Los Angeles, taking a bunch of acting classes, booking a bunch of national commercials, been in a few movies, been in a few TV shows, and while we wait to become super famous, we're just going to be famous by doing Two for Stew. So that's why that's
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And Jim Martica, tell us about how you sort of your origin and your sort of entree into acting. It's sort of both, and it seems to me, and you're a huge theater person as well, right?
Yes, I'm big into theater because I'm not good looking enough or talented enough to make it in film and television. So, yeah, I'm actually from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is why I'm a big Green Bay Packer fan.
We forgive you. Go Bears. We forgive you.
And I got into acting a few years ago. I've done a few commercials and a couple of really awful independent films that I hope nobody ever sees.
But I hope the people who made aren't watching.
Talk about them. Okay.
I may be the
Not
only
name
person
them.
who honestly prays that nobody ever sees my stuff. It's a male prostitute in Cambodia and was adopted by Kevin Spacey. But then, yeah, and then unfortunately, these two are two of my best friends,
Great.
and that's how I got sucked into doing this show.
That's fantastic. Well, let me ask you guys, because Two for Stew is so unusual and so fun and so funny. Ben, how did you guys come up with how did Two for Stew get born?
Okay, sure. Well, Darren and I met, actually all three of us met because of a wonderful little theater company. It's not even that little, it's getting bigger and bigger. Theater company in North Hollywood called Theater Unleashed. Jim's actually, I think, one of the founding members. Is that correct, Jim? Can you...
Yeah, did I honestly forget to mention Theater Unleashed?
Yeah, we've all forgotten to mention it until this point, but I think this is the perfect point because we're all part of this company. Or, well, Darren I don't think is a current member, but he's definitely a friend of the company and has been in the past. And Darren and I were performing together in the Spidey Project, which was a really fun parody of a Spider-Man musical that we got to be the Los Angeles premiere of a few years ago. And it was right around that time we were doing that interestingly enough, another set of friends of mine from Virginia, their names are Brandon and Will, were doing a web series called Destination Weekend Land. And it was really just them needing to entertain folks, really, like I said before. They put this thing together on their iPhones and posted it in this Facebook group that Darren and I are both members of. We're clearly very popular and social people. But we saw this thing and we were like, you know what, and I've been having so much fun working with Darren on Spidey, and I feel like at that point I saw Darren's love for Destination Weekend Land, and I said, hey, we could do something like that. And so we got together at a bar and had some chicken wings and sort of spitballed for 3 or 4 hours, and some of the best sketches we came up with were us sitting across from each other, just going back and forth. And we had some other stuff that was more, broader sketches and different types of things. But when we came down to it, we really loved the sitting down, and then it just spiraled out of there. I'll let Darren talk about the name, which was a fun story in and of itself, but that's how it arrived at Two for Stew. And one of the first things that I came up with, we were like, we need to have like a dopey put-upon guy. Who do we get to do it? Jim. Jim's going to do it.
Perfect. Perfect.
Day
well,
one.
That's a perfect segue to Darren. Darren, tell us how Two for Stew, the name, came about.
Ben and I have this great relationship where he is a perfectionist and I'm a hey, let's just get it done.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect balance of Ben going, we need to shoot this 3 more times, and I'm like, screw it, let's just go to the next shot. And it really works out well. So our editing is, we will be chatting back and forth via, let's say, Facebook Messenger or Google Hangouts, if we're imping that. And we just started going back and forth with horrible names just to start the ball rolling, like, Street Corner Whores and
Street Corner Whores 2, Electric Boogaloo.
That was taken, however.
Yes, it was. We watched all 3 seasons.
I'm glad neither one of those names made it in, but keep going.
It just kept going back and forth until I figure Ben and I are really good at eating with each other. So
with
other, yeah. I'm sorry. Did I say eating each other? Yeah, with. We started,
trying to make that sort of line up with I'm single,
Right. So then we did Two for Stew came out, and Ben messaged back, that's it. We Googled it to make sure that no one else had it.
Yep.
And, there might be a children's book out there with it, but we're not.
Nope. Nope.
There should be now, though.
Probably be much different if it existed. Yeah.
No, we didn't get it from. Someone hit us up, and there's this book that had the name, and it's not all one word like ours is.
Right.
And I think it's actually written out the word number 2 or the word 2 instead of the numbers. So we're good.
Different.
Children's book.
Totally different.
It's radically different. There's no way to confuse it.
Right.
The space makes all the difference. That sounds amazing, Darren. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Listen, I think I'd love to hear now, because it's sort of part of the episodes that you guys have sort of include, all of first season, to be honest, is reflective of this wonderful back and forth over food. And Jim, can you sort of take us into that creative space? Like when as episodes are being developed by you all, and it feels very kind of improvisational. Take us into that discussion of how episodes get framed.
It's pretty simple. Ben smokes a lot of weed and Darren drinks a lot. Oh no.
Okay, so
Not true.
we should have made sure that everybody had a drink as part of this. Definitely.
Actually, they just bring me on every once in a while when they need a whipping boy for one of their episodes. So I actually have watched these two guys perform and collaborate together on stage and in different projects, and they just work really, really well together. But I think, why don't you guys talk a little bit about how you guys come up with the concepts for these things?
Darren, why don't you go first on that?
I'll go first. Switch over to me.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to you, Darren. There you are, Darren the Mangler.
Okay. A lot of our concepts actually come from actual conversations we've had. Like our astigmatism episode was an actual. That's funny, Jim. Our astigmatism episode was actually a conversation I had with my mother, which pretty much had her face palming and shaking her head. A lot of our concepts come up again from our actual events that we just sharpen up a little bit. Ben, do you have anything else?
Wow, actual events, really?
No, I can't say that all of them come from actual events. I am, in fact, a time machine. Although, unfortunately, I only move forward and at the same pace as everyone else. No, it kind of is. It's funny. Like the very first one in that first round of things I was talking about earlier was chicken butt. I don't remember what number episode that is off the top of my head, but and it was just the tiniest little idea, and it's in my opinion the least funny and one of the only ones that I have the only writing credit on. But it was just that kind of simple thing that we just cast a wide net. Like it was this wide net of whatever kind of goofy idea we thought was funny, and then it goes back and forth. Darren usually pitches a full script and sends it to me, and I hear it in my head and hear beats maybe that he wouldn't have heard and add those and switch things up, and he'll do the same thing in another pass, and we just go back and forth until and actually, I mean, until we're done shooting, to be perfectly honest, because even Jim, King Jim of Monopoly mustache over there. Can we cut to Jim real quick? I just want to see King Jim of Monopoly mustache. There he is.
Yeah.
There he is. Lord Jim. Actually, even he, can attest to this. He was being humble before, but contributed significantly to improv on set. The end of the episode that premieres him, Balls, his first episode where we revealed that he sits there sometimes, was totally him improvising, and it wouldn't have been the same without him. 25% is another example. At the very end, the little thing that I do at the end of the episode, 25%, that you have to watch in order to know what I'm talking about, is all Jim's idea. So we're continuing to create and bounce the ball back and forth up until we call it a night and wrap on the shoot. That's it.
Okay. So, you guys, how long does this take? Like, if you're doing an episode, how long does that actually take?
Oh, man.
It depends on whether or not Ben's in charge or Darren's in charge. If Darren's in charge, we pretty much can get this thing shot, wrapped, and edited in 10 minutes and then be at the bar. If Ben's doing it, it may take up to 3 years.
It also, in this... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to ask Jim to continue his question.
Why would you ask Jim to continue?
I don't know.
All right, no, go on,
No,
Jim.
actually, I've got a question for them if I can ask one, Christine.
Please do.
I wanted you guys to talk about who your comedic influences are for this. I've been kind of curious about that.
Well, I'm gonna pass it over to Darren for sure on this, because he, like I said, the vast majority of the instigating humor of these things comes from him.
My biggest influence is, I grew up as as a kid when HBO was first coming out. I would actually take those old school tape recorders where you had to push press and record at the same time, and I'd hold it up to the TV, and I would record stand-up comedians like Sam Kinison, George Carlin, Dennis Miller, Rodney Dangerfield, and I would, when other kids were like reading or just falling right to sleep, I would listen to these comedians and fall asleep. So I was always a big fan of the punchline. I was always a big fan of getting there quickly, and so anything that Blazing Saddles was such a big influence in my life. It's still my favorite movie of all time today. And that's one of the most annoying things about Saturday Night Live to me. Even in the 70s, when you're watching the original cast, there was always an ending, and they would get there kind of quickly. Yeah. They had twice the sketches back in the day. Nowadays, they're like, let's break on camera, let's make this scene go for 45 minutes because we only have 10 sketches written, and it just kind of lingers and then fades away at the end. That's what I really like about Two for Stu, and thank God Ben lets us do this. I like to get to the joke, and then let's just tail this off right off the bat, because I think faster is funnier.
And I'll jump in on that. And actually, like I said before, a lot of what we did came from, or the inciting incident was Destination Weekend Land. But also, when the idea to come up with something got rolling, I sat around with this thing, 5-second films. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. I sat around and watched a ton of 5-second films just to be like, yeah, these guys cram. They get, I think, 2 to 3 jokes in that 5-second period, and realizing just that you have to just be that economical. And the truth that's true from the writing standpoint when we're cutting things down all the way through to the final cut. We found again a lot of the comedy of certain episodes, like Pot Stew, for instance, comes from the editing.
Okay. Wow. And I'm curious, how much of the episode comes through the editing process versus when you guys are shooting live? Do you know what I mean? Does the whole thing change direction when you're editing, or is it just totally raw footage?
It can. I think more than anything, this is the way I approach pretty much any creative endeavor these days. I think of it as coats of paint. You know what I mean? You kind of start over with every new phase, and each one puts on something new or cleans up or thickens an area that was too thin before. But at no point is it really, I mean, it's ongoing until it's all dry. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean in terms of paint.
Well, yeah. Each time you put a new thing on it, and it's yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Metaphors.
And a lot of times, Ben and I agree pretty much 100% when it comes to editing, because he'll do the first pass on it. He's our editor, and he's fantastic. And he'll do that first wave. Then he'll ask me to give it an eye. I'll give maybe 1 or 2 notes, if any, and he'll implement those. And the next time I see it, it's completely different than what I just saw, and it's even better. So he's really good at getting. He has his timing down, which is really pretty exceptional for an editor, to know when that comic slice should happen.
Right. And Jim, what was your contribution in all of this?
Yeah, really, Jim. Why are you even here?
Because
we know about your special effects sort of abilities, which are amazing. So.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I literally learned these yesterday. I'm having so much fun. I'm like a little idiot at the candy store. I honestly pretty much contribute absolutely nothing other than pure raw talent and the ability to make these two look better.
That's true.
Hey,
by contrast.
Really quick, Christine, if I can shift it real quick, Dwana asked, I think it's a great question that all of America watching would like to know, is what's in the stew?
Yeah. What's in the stew?
Yeah, Darren, I think that's a you question.
Keep it clean, boys. Keep it clean.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Jim, it's not only all of America, but it is the world.
It is the world. Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't know we went global yet. I forgot.
And Ben, is it okay if I use a corporate name or?
That's a Christine question.
Absolutely. Use a corporate
Okay.
name. Sure.
Dinty Moore beef stew is the best stew on the planet. I've been eating it ever since my redneck days in a trailer.
That's true, though. Yeah, that's true.
Yesterday.
Absolutely.
Dinty
We got to do
Moore.
a shout out to Dinty Moore. That's right.
Dinty Moore beef stew. If you want us to do a commercial for you, we have got you covered.
Dinty Moore beef stew. If you want some stew, have some more.
That's fabulous.
We'll write something better, but that was close.
Yeah.
Darren Mangler. Keeping it clean. Sorry. Oh, that would have been funny too.
That is funny. That is funny. Well, you guys, let's shift our conversation a bit to talking about some of the projects that you guys are sort of involved in now going forward. And, of course, we want a little bit of conversation on Two for Stew Season 2 and what your thoughts are. Jim, do you want to start us out with talking about your new projects?
Sure. I'm continuing working with Theater Unleashed. For coming up this winter, we're doing It's a Wonderful Life for the stage, which is a radio play that I adapted the Frank Capra movie to a radio play for the stage, so it's pretty fun.
It's great.
And,
it's fantastic. I had the pleasure of playing in that this year. His adaptation of that movie is fantastic. Just throwing that out there.
And this isn't about you right now. It's about me.
No, I'm complimenting you on my behalf.
And then I'm also am a writer, and I help people write and publish books. And so got a couple books that I'm working on. One on improv for kids that I'm working with the coach on, and then another one on the last couple of years of the famous Italian director Federico Fellini. So yeah.
Wow.
We're
That's
writing and acting and having some fun, and looking forward to hopefully doing more episodes with these two talented guys.
Assuming your character is still alive.
Right, that's true. Now, Jim, can you just sort of say the title of the book that you know? I mean, not the Fellini book, but the other book, just so everybody can make sure they hear that.
Actually, I can't because it's with a publisher right now, and they're deciding on a title. So.
Oh, well done. Well done. All right.
So, but there is one that I did that you guys, all of you in Chicago, will appreciate. I did recently, a year or so ago, complete the autobiography of Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer Willie Davis, called "Closing the Gap." So.
Oh wow.
About football. So.
We have tremendous respect for football. The fact that he was a Packer, well, all right, but that's okay. Thanks so much. And Karen, can you talk to us a little bit about some of the work that you're doing now?
Yes. So we're going to bed. I wasn't prepared. Okay. Right now, I am finishing up a short film called The Whole Person. It was a show that I wrote for. It was a short play that I wrote for Theater Unleashed.
It's really good. I had the pleasure of performing in it once on stage.
Oh my God, Ben!
It's true.
It's a story about a guy who loses weight for a girl, and at the time I was about 300 pounds, and I knew I was jumping into this infomercial workout group, so I decided to write the first part of it, and we shot it when I was 300 pounds, and then 3 months later I lost 55 pounds, and we shot the second part.
55 pounds in 3 months, that's like huge.
Yeah, and so I'm really excited about getting this finished. It's at the sound editor right now, the actors, everybody, the editor, the director, who's two-time Clio Award winner, Jonas Mayab, directed it, and it's fantastic. So we're gonna premiere that this coming summer, and then put it into the festival circuit. I just finished, like Jim, I just finished my first novel. It's a fantasy, and it's on its fourth rewrite, and will be, trying to be sold to publishers in about 2 months.
Oh, fantastic! Fantastic. And, I do want to say we need to give a shout out to Dinty Moore because I know they contributed to your 55-pound weight loss. Yay!
So when you eat all that, I am so used to taking white bread and then Zamboni and all the gravy.
That's
I
right.
have white bread.
That's
so
right.
I had to just
That's right. It's so good. You're
Darren, you're gonna be the new Jared from Subway.
Here's some vision work.
Right. Okay. And Ben, can you talk to us about your new projects? And even before, sort of, or while you're talking about them, can you also talk about all the other people that were part of Two for Stew that we didn't have a chance to meet tonight?
Absolutely. Actually, I'll start there. The list is long and in no particular order. My co-director and cinematographer, Justine Joy, I recommend checking out her photography website or Facebook page. She's fantastic. We didn't talk too much about the production, but we spent so much time bouncing back and forth and out to Sierra Madre that our crew really were troopers, because we would shoot one of those short episodes per night out there when we drove out there.
Wow.
5 of them were shot in an apartment on one day, and on that crew was we had Beth Wallen running sound for us with Justine on camera and co-directing. We had Alicia Reyes doing everything else for us. We almost always, I'd say 95% of the time, had all female crews, which was a blast for us and something that I think doesn't happen enough in these smaller productions. And then our associate producer, also Corey Lynn Howe, helped make our location in Sierra Madre, Beantown. That wonderful coffee shop in Beantown, in Sierra Madre, called Beantown, that if you ever get out there, you have to go check it out. It's fantastic. They were really helpful, and Corey helped hook us up with that, and helped us out with a few other things, including playing in the 25% episode in 2 roles, 4 if you count them twice, and that was a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, we had people sit in with us throughout. Different single days, but all of them are in the IMDb credits, and I recommend checking them out because they all deserve a little attention. We also had tons of people contribute every single episode except for the last one. We had a brand new title card drawn by our very talented friends. The one we're using for It's a Short is by Erin Prazen. I hope she's watching right now. Hi, Erin. It was all of them were fantastic in different ways, and we had some specific things we wanted from them, and you'll see what we mean. Like TARDIS Stew, for instance, has a fantastic title card by Sebastian Kadlicek, who is the author of this comic book called Penguins vs. Possums, which I highly recommend everyone check out because that is epic. Okay. So those guys are all fantastic. Please look at all of the artists' work. They're all credited on IMDb as well. This is me talking forever. The stuff that I have coming up next, I just did a really fun 48-hour film project called Patient of War for the Producers Guild. And that's going to be in this competition called Make Your Mark coming up very shortly. Jim and I were just in Best of 25 Plays Per Hour at Hollywood Fringe Festival, which was a ton of fun. And even though Jim won't be moving on with us, I am jumping on the crew that's going down to San Diego to do Best of 25 Plays Per Hour down there with Theater Unleashed again. So we'll be doing that the first 2 weekends in July. Let's see here. I'm working on my first audiobook right now, which is why I have this crazy microphone right here. It's called Hyde, an Urban Fantasy by Lauren Stewart, and then it should be out probably next year, but don't quote me on that. Okay. I've got a short film called Ripple that's doing some fun stuff in festivals right now. I've got a web series called The Night Crew, that's K-N-I-G-H-T, like night, except it's actually about people who work at night. Where I play a sort of funny janitor character that should be up soon, and yeah, that's the kind of crazy stuff. It sounds like I've been really busy, but all this stuff is stuff I shot over the past like 18 months, and it's just now coming out soon. such is the way of things. But yeah. Did I miss anybody? Other people, crew? Did I horribly guffaw or not guffaw, but commit a faux pas and miss?
Named everybody in the state of California, so I think you're good, Ben.
Okay.
Except
Okay.
Bogosian.
Susie Bogosian, Kristen Salaka, who else? Eon Song. All these people helped us out on various days.
Denny Moore.
Clint Eastwood. Stevie Spielberg, Bobby De Niro.
Some folks we know, just kind of.
Yeah, I know, you know.
I get it. Hey, that's how you guys roll out there. It's kind of deep.
Well, exactly. We're so deep in the stew.
Right.
Oh, I should. Hold on one second. Let me just. Sure, I had something here. But my friend Will Collins as well, William Collins from Virginia, he provided the voice for the stew in our pilot episode, Calories, and he deserves a shout out because that guy is hilarious and came through for us just with a bunch of takes of Stu saying bad words. So
I thought he was black.
yeah, you did. You did think that.
He's weird.
Hey,
He's
I
not
just want
black.
to make it clear for the record, I'm actually Jewish. Just want to say.
Oh, hey, Will.
Oh
Will
my
Collins chiming
so
in.
funny. That is so funny.
Ah,
That is so crazy.
that's fantastic.
That is fantastic. That really is. Okay. All right. Well, we have one of our viewers wanted to ask a question, and it had to do with why, how, and why. It's sort of, I gotta remember the actual name. It's like Glitz and Grits, I think. So shout out to Glitz and Grits. And the question was, how did you even get into film? Like, how did that become a choice? You know what I mean? Because, when everybody's thinking about very traditional, perhaps, kinds of, roles or how to spend your time as an adult, film is not like on the short list usually. So.
I think, honestly, Christine, I think what he probably really meant is, how did you guys ever get into working in this profession at all?
At all.
Past any of you in anything. And the answer is that's why we're doing our own thing.
Yeah, that's actually the answer. That is
That's
true.
really good. That's really good. Yeah.
That is
because
absolutely true.
I think it takes there's no clear pathway, and it takes a lot of, guts and courage and tenacity to find your way in and make it work, right? So I think that's the essence of Glitz and Girls' question is, how did you guys, sort of deal with all of that and just jump in? Because it feels like you've A, jumped in, B, you're doing a lot of stuff. You got a lot of projects, and I don't know if that's because there's you want to do a lot of things, or you end up doing a lot of things. You know what I mean? So can you guys speak to that for Glitz and Girls?
Sure.
Kim, you want to start?
Oh, how did we get into it?
Do you have more to say than what you've already shared?
No, but I mean, I think there is something to that, especially in this day and age, and I know Ben and Darren can talk more about that as well, especially living in California, it's really, really difficult to break into this business, and so you get to a point where you're like, you want to keep working, you want to keep acting, and, the theater is great to satisfy a part of that, but we also want to do stuff on screen, and so the people who I think are going to be very successful now and in the future are the people who do it themselves and put out a good quality product and pair themselves up with good quality people, which is for me why I instantly said yes when, in all seriousness, when Ben and Darren asked me to be a part of it, I said absolutely, because I know that they're two pros. And so I think that's how I get into projects like this, is look for people that are going to take it seriously, kind of, and have some fun and put together a good product. So
fantastic. Thank you. And Darren, do you want to talk and sort of give us your thoughts about, sort of this craft and profession that you've chosen and all that you've been through? Because, I mean, I think losing 55 pounds in 3 months is, amazing. And that's, one aspect of all the stuff that you're doing. It's amazing.
Well, when you do little projects like this, I really want to do two for Stu because I'm also starting to write more. I have a horror film that's being optioned right now, which I'm kind of excited about. This is more of a calling card. You're like, hey, we can write comedy for TV if you need us. We can write a good, B-level National Lampoon comedy movie if you want us to. So this is like our calling card. But when I get really frustrated when people move to Los Angeles and say, I just can't make it, and I'm like, well, what classes are you taking? What projects are you doing? And they're like, well, I'm just too tired because I wait tables so much. I'm like, well, I work an 8-hour day. I was playing semi-professional football. You work on the weekends, plus I was doing short films and writing. If you truly want to be a part of this profession, I mean, you have to work at it every day.
Yeah.
And also, you have to have your fingers in a lot of pots. I play the bass, so, I mean, that got me into acting. I played football. I was a stuntman on The Longest Yard. I was writing, which got me into a room, which got me into being a writer's assistant for the Dresden Files on Sci-Fi Channel. You have to have more than just one interest, I think, because you need people to see you in all these different venues. whether it be improv, stand-up, storytelling, playing volleyball with and meeting new people at the beach. I mean, you have to get out there.
Jim reports that you're a tight end. You were a tight end, Darren. I don't even know how to say that other than just to deliver it.
Right. Yeah. And thank you for delivering it, Christine.
That just made my night.
I was actually an offensive guard for the Hollywood Stars, who won the championship last year. So.
Oh wow! Oh.
I saw him play. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
We gotta throw a high five up for that one. We gotta
there
throw.
That's
great.
Yeah, I think everything that they were saying, that Darren said about getting into the industry and everything everyone's saying about content creation is true, and I think that's one of the reasons I love what It's a Short is doing, honestly, because we've come to the place now where I guess the system is completely changing, right? And distribution is completely changing, and the fact that all these tools are available, everyone's talking about this, but the fact that all these tools are available to anyone who wants to get out there and create something, that's great, and that's going on, and that's started to get structures moving, and now distribution has become sort of the new Wild West. What are we going to do to get this stuff that's being created by a bunch of people who otherwise weren't able to get their foot in any doors, or just because people were bottlenecking at the very few doors there were. It's nice to see that there are these opportunities out now that we can find audiences and get directly to audiences without worrying so much about the studios or without the existing systems. While at the same time, those of us who want to make a living at it in the meantime are still pursuing those systems as well. That's what I think about all this stuff. The reason I got into it is because I love to tell stories and because I love to, like I said before, entertain folks. Two for Stew isn't changing the world in any kind of deep, meaningful way, but if it makes you laugh, then we've done our job,
Well, and don't we think that, sort of the pathway to change is really through laughter, right? So.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's great. Well, we appreciate the shout out to It's a Short. I don't know if Jim and Darren, if you guys want to talk to us to say something about, the value that itsashort.com can represent for you. That'd be great if you would. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Darren,
I can talk a little bit about just exposure. It's another place to get together to be a part of a community of creators, of people who, like Darren and Ben said, do take their work seriously and have fun doing it. And I believe collaboration breeds success. And so it's just a great place to see a bunch of really, really good people doing really, really good things. And we're very, very happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Darren, do you want to sort of share your thoughts on itsashort.com?
No. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, no. Oh, we just had a two for Stew movement at moment. I love it.
I'm a little bit surprised we haven't written an episode so far. Like, it usually happens when we sit down for any period of time.
Is that right? I don't know. This could be an episode, right? Here we go.
Yeah.
I actually have to pat Ben on the back on this one. I said that we need more exposure, and he actually put his fingertips in the internet world, and he said, "Hey, I've been contacted by It's a Short. They love our show." I'm like, "That's fantastic. Let's do everything we can. You do it all. I'm going to be in my house." And Ben really followed through, and once I saw what It's a Short's about, to be a part of that family of people who enjoy watching short films, short segments, seeing stuff that's not in the mainstream at the time, I think is invaluable. So I'm really excited about the whole thing.
Oh, great. Well, we have had a blast working with all of you, and thank everybody who's watching for joining us for this premiere and live Q&A event. And with that, I think we're going to sign off, right? So thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
We will see you guys again soon. Bye.
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 No pain.